So I recently watched the amazing three-part documentary on the Beatles called Get Back by none other than Peter Jackson. Here are 5 of my observations from that documentary. Number 1, it's long. Now, don't fry me in the comments. I'm not some zoomer who can only watch reels on Instagram. My attention span is a lot better than most, but even I was surprised at the length of the individual episodes of this documentary. It's like 2.5 to 3 hours almost. But I think all that time is necessary to capture the full scope of the scenario the Beatles were working in, and especially to capture the interpersonal relationships between the band members. So I guess you could call it the Lord of the Rings expanded trilogy of Beatles documentaries, which is pretty fitting given who the director is. Number 2, the person I identify with the most in this documentary is Paul McCartney, because throughout this documentary, he essentially is the band leader corralling everyone together and like making all of them work towards the common objective of the TV special. But in the process, a lot of his controlling tendencies come out where he like essentially dictates to John, George, and Ringo the parts that he wants. And not only does he do this, he's keenly aware of the fact that he's doing it, and he's actively worried that these tendencies will suffocate the band and make someone go away. And surprise, surprise, that's exactly what happens with George Harrison in the middle of episode 1. Number 3, the person I felt sorry for the most in this documentary is Ringo Starr, because my God, he is such a gem. His resting face looks sad already, and he is the most professional among the four. But as all the drama unfolds throughout the documentary, he's just sitting there, wondering like, am I seeing the band that I love fall to pieces right in front of me? And oh my God, bless his heart, dude. I mean, number 4, the Beatles were keenly aware of the power of mass media and visual communication and actively wanted to leverage it. Now, there is this tendency among some music fans to think that for artists of the Beatles generation, it was just about the music, man. Well, the documentary shows that this was not the case at all. The Beatles were actively following what the press and the tabloids were saying about them and had an active say in all the elements surrounding their music. I'm talking about where the setting of the TV special would be, what would the stage and set design be, what would the visuals be, etc., etc. In fact, in one stretch of the documentary where it seems like the Beatles are going to prematurely break up, Paul has this idea for a potential final performance where, as they are playing, various major world news headlines would be playing behind them. And then when they finish their set, the final headline would be the Beatles break up. That is a high level of planning and self-awareness. And number 5, and which I think is the most important observation, the Beatles were human at the end of the day. Now, there is this tendency for fans to mythologize the bands they love, but this documentary clearly shows that even a band as big as the Beatles can go through the same drama and emotions as any local band that you know. And that, I think, is an important lesson which we as fans can take away and which musicians can take comfort in as they are planning their own magnum opuses. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me for more music content, follow my podcast on YouTube, and thanks for listening.